It is bad for your health, your relationships, for your future, your country, for your neighborhood, for your...
Oh my God.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Back to my channel. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe. But let's get right into it. This is actually how I escaped.
Shout out to this creator for allowing me to react to their video. It's just crazy how the title says how I escaped wokeness. Like it's like a camp, like a prison or something. Like we gotta escape this. It's very interesting, but let's get right into this. Subscribe to her channel. Let's go.
Wokeness. I became a woke zombie for a while, and it was very much so due to college, just like every other story you hear. I'm very grateful to be out of that cult. And this is kind of my journey into how I got into that and how I kind of got out, and how you can also test to see if you're in the cult of wokeness. Because the reason I say cult is to denote that it is bad for you. Like, it is bad for your health, your relationships, for your future, your country, for your neighborhood, for your...
Oh my God, it's bad for my neighborhood. Being woke is bad for my neighborhood, my culture, my family, my success. Sheesh.
Cat, your dog, the spider in the corner, for everyone. I don't know how to say this, so I want to describe what it feels like. If someone doesn't really understand it, I know there are people who, they've just been like anti-woke from the beginning. I don't know how someone can actually be anti-woke from like the beginning, because that's kind of, I hate to use the word, that's kind of problematic. Like, you were not woke at any point in time. So hopefully...
Well, I mean, but if you escaped it, that means you kind of are like them now when you're not woke. But I don't get what you're saying. I don't get what you're saying. I'm sorry.
Everyone watching this at a point kind of had a drip of like wokeness, because I think people go into it with good intentions. And that's the whole trick about it, is the well-meaning folks who get sucked into this thing that has so much attached to it in a very Trojan horse-like fashion. So I hope that there are some people who were like, you know, I mean well, I do want to end racism, or I didn't like what I saw with the George Floyd thing, so I do want to do a little bit of work to make sure that I'm fighting against any systemic oppression that exists and that sort of thing. This video and these videos aren't to appease those types of people. Like, I don't think that's good. With that said, there's a different thing going on right now. Our current mode of like social justice, there's something amiss about it. And I'm here to say, like, I fell for that wave for a little bit, but it does.
So she's basically implying that she got into wokeness because of the positive connotation behind it. Like, you want to end racism, you want to end everything bad in society. However, once she got a little deeper inside of it, it was just like, whoa, this is not what I signed up for. This is actually insane. I do not support this. I want to go back to before. So that's kind of what she's saying now. And that's something I've noticed in a lot of society. Like, I feel like it started kind of as a good thing. And you're like, yeah, like, but then it just got so radical so quickly that it's like, whoa, I don't even know what I'm supporting anymore. I don't even know what I'm watching anymore.
Doesn't yield the sort of liberation that you would think it would yield. Now, a little bit of background about myself. I spent my high school years in South Africa, and during the time in South Africa, I learned a lot about Nelson Mandela. I was in school in South Africa through the late 2000s, and it was still healing. So there was a lot of discussion about race. They had a Truth and Reconciliation Commission, but not only that, they just adopted a framework that aids forgiveness. And people think I make this stuff up. Literally, Desmond Tutu has written 2 books, as far as I know, 2 books on forgiveness. Desmond Tutu was out there protesting, like getting arrested, getting tear gassed. His daughter and his wife were strip searched in a very disrespectful manner by the apartheid police force. Archbishop Desmond Tutu wasn't allowed to vote, even though he was a notable, respected archbishop. Just the fact that he experienced the worst form of racism and fought against it, and his ultimate thesis coming out of that was we need to forgive, and that actually kept the nation from becoming a terror war zone.
And that's one thing I've noticed. Like a lot of the people who've experienced like the worst racism ever, who's experienced the most prejudice in society, i.e. the dude she's talking about right now, i.e. Martin Luther King, they actually were some of the most forgiving. And it's like, wow, like even in this situation, I'm a black man, he's a black woman, talking about escaping wokeness. Like, isn't this kind of weird to y'all?
Bloodbath dystopia is something to take note of, and that's what we learned a lot about during high school. So that was embedded in me from the beginning, like from the time I kind of started learning about Nelson Mandela to the time that I was in college. I began to, things were fine. BLM really wasn't a thing at the time. Life was good. To me, America was one of the friendliest countries I've ever been to. But then college was like, it taught critical theory, it taught critical race theory. When it came to like sociology and stuff like that, it was dark. The trouble is when you learn from that lens, and that's really kind of what some classes took. It wasn't like, oh, this is a theory, or this is a school of thought. It was, this is how you have to look at life. Like, these are the tools, and that's it.
And that's kind of what I was saying too about colleges in America, because I'm currently in college and I love my university. I'm not trying to bash universities. I think college is a great thing, but I'm just a little more objective. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Colleges do indoctrinate you, like they indoctrinate its people, because it's not like it's just teaching you information. That's not how it really works, unless you're in like a very specific course that's teaching you about, like, for example, engineering, mathematics, then. But I'm saying, like, in terms of like the social studies classes, every one of those classes are taught to like a lens. They're taught to a lens to make you believe a certain thing. Not even make you believe it, but like it pushes you to that belief. So because of that, majority of college kids in America do have a little more of the like leftist beliefs, and it's not even their fault. It's like, it's just what you're taught. It breeds it, like, I don't even know the right word. It pushes you in that direction. If you've been to college, you know what I'm talking about.
Like, this is actually what reality is. I had that framework kind of begin to get embedded in me, but pay attention to the feeling. I didn't feel good about it. Like, I remember the one day it was raining outside, it was almost Halloween, I think it was like 2014, and we were learning about symbolism. We're learning about Antonio Gramsci, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, and the hegemony, and I just felt dark. Like, I literally felt like my heart was opening, and like darkness was coming inside. From that moment, it was dark. As I adopted that lens through college, like, my outlook of the world was dark and hopeless. Little did I know my outlook of the world would then come back to affect my look and the way I saw myself, who I was, the value that I brought, how people saw me, all just deteriorated.
And that's what I've been saying. When you talk about teaching this stuff in school, or you talking about this stuff in universities, it's not the fact that the information itself is bad. Nobody is saying that. I'm all for learning. Learn as much as you can. But you have to think about why it's being taught. You have to think about the lens in which it's being taught in. Who's teaching you this? What are the benefits of teaching you this? So when you're teaching young African American children or young African American adults that you are oppressed, that you aren't good enough, what are you telling them? Like, and I feel like I'm crazy for saying that. People treat me like I'm crazy for saying that. But you have to look at the message behind that. What are they going to get out of that? They're not going to get happiness. They're not going to get motivation. They're not even going to get they're not going to get anything good from that. What if they're already feeling that from their neighborhoods? What is me telling them that they're not good enough, that they're oppressed, going to actually do for their lives? And I get it. You're supposed to learn your history. For sure. Learn your history. If you're learning from an objective source, for sure. But my thing is this. I want my community to be as successful as possible. And when you're too woke, that's the phrase, too woke, it pushes you away from success and pushes you more into victimhood. That I've noticed. If I'm wrong, let me know.
because it was like I had to take all these factors into consideration. I came out of college with that worldview. I came out of college thinking like, as a Black woman, opportunities for me are so much less likely to happen or be given because of my Blackness, that I was very much so hyper aware of microaggressions. I was very aware of just like the way the world is, the way you're taught that the world is. So it's like everything's working against you. Literally, like, you walk out of the door and like everyone is conspiring against you. So whereas from the beginning I would just kind of walk down the street and say hi to people, if they didn't say hi back, I was like, whatever. It was like every look that I got was racist. It was just racist, and it was also racist sexist. Like, it was more than just one thing. It was like everything you are is everything someone else hates. Like, literally walk down to the store and I'll not pay attention to all the people who walked by me and who were just normal. I would walk by like, say, 10 people, and if one person like gave me a bad look, or you know, they didn't move out of the way, like they're walking and then like, you know, it's like, oh, what do you do? And they just keep going. I interpreted that as like, it's a microaggression, like that is an act of racism. So regardless of all the other interactions, I was fine. That one thing would ruin my day. Like, I remember I felt like I would have a dagger in my heart. But it wasn't just that. See, that's just going to the store. Now you have to go through the whole day. And if you ever get anything of someone treating you like crap, or if you ever get someone who like opens the door, right, for maybe their family, and then like you're a far way off and they don't open the door for you, like actions like that, I would interpret all of that as microaggressions against me. So
that whole phrase, microaggressions, like, I think that was started. I have never heard that prior to 2020, but I'm gonna just leave that alone. Like she's saying, and here's my point, man. If you believe you have the code of wokeness, if you have the code of wokeness within you, you're gonna believe everything is racist. But what is that teaching you? If you inherently believe that white people are racist, that other races are racist, and you allow them to have this much control over you, you're basically saying that they're superior to you, which is why I say you shouldn't even touch this topic for the most part. I think people should learn about this themselves. School should teach this from an objective point of view, but we're humans, so objectivity is not even possible, if I'm being honest. But anyways, if you would let people affect you this much, then it's a problem, man. It's really a problem, because not only are you dehumanizing yourself, you're dehumanizing other people, because every time they treat you a certain way, you're forgetting that they may have personal struggles. They may not even have noticed you. They didn't even do it on purpose. They may not even have done anything, but you look at them as such superiority that you think that they just have the authority or the ability to degrade you so much to ruin your entire day. It's not right, man. It's not right. It shouldn't happen.
So that would make me so fragile that by the end of the day, I'm filled with so much darkness, I'm filled with so much anxiety, I'm filled with so much stress that I can't even like do my normal like work. Like, I can't live my life like that, right? Like, I can't live and actually work and give 100% of the task because I'm kind of under stress and duress. So yeah, that's what life was like. Like, honestly, like that's what life was like when you are hyper aware of all these kind of critical theory notions and ideas, especially like the neo-Marxism stuff. It's like, I don't really know what to do with this energy except protest. I remember I was super like bothered about like no justice, no peace in LA. Like, I wanted to do whatever I could to help. 2016, y'all, like 2016, I was out. Like, I was out when I heard like Trump was running and like, you know, CNN was saying everything that was wrong with Trump. I literally couldn't function. I couldn't pay attention in school. And when Trump got elected, like, I literally couldn't hand in assignments that quarter. Like, I had to ask for extensions for my time limit because I literally couldn't focus. I was like sick. I was literally sick. I was depressed. I was stressed. I remember I'd cry. I would spend my entire night, almost like throughout the night, trying to block Ben Shapiro's account, like trying to get it reported. I would like,
Do y'all hear what she's saying, man? And shout out to this young woman for, being this bold to talk about this, because that's how it's like life indoctrinates you, bro. Y'all think I be playing when I say that. Like, she's around my age, we're probably around the same age. Yeah, like this is what you're taught. It is not even really your fault. It's just like what they're teaching you. And it just breeds so much hatred in your heart. And it's not healthy. It's not healthy having this much hatred. Like, it's, bro, when Donald Trump was getting elected, I didn't know one Donald Trump policy. I wanted this man gone, man. Like, not gone and like from earth, but I wanted him to leave the office, man. Like, I didn't like him. I didn't like anything about him. I hated the right side. I did not like it, period. I thought they were the most evil people on earth. Ask me why. Ask me why, 17-year-old me, why did I thought that? I didn't even know. And it was just hatred. It's like, it's just hatred in your heart. And you don't even know why it's there. You can't even give a real reason why you don't like it, because it's just what you're taught. And it sucks because when you're young, you're supposed to trust the people, in the schools or the new. No, you're not supposed to trust what you see on social media. Like, that's not true. But it's like you're just so caught up in it that you do trust it.
Reported to Twitter, like, can you please suspend Ben Shapiro? Why is he still on here? I remember that so vividly. And this lady called Ann Coulter, I think. I don't remember. I don't even know who she is. I don't know what she does. But I was like, Ann has to be removed. She's killing me. And that was my life. Like, literally, that was my existence every day. It wasn't until it got too much. It literally wasn't until like it got too much that I couldn't function that I was like, I have to do something about it. It's like, I have all these knives of like people not opening doors for me, people not looking at me well, people not saying the thing that they should have said, people saying the wrong thing. I mean, just like getting looks was enough to trigger me for the day. And I was at a point where I was literally like, I'm a Christian. And I just had to be like, Lord, what do I do with this? Like, I feel horrible. I'm not at peace. Like, I am not at peace. And he was literally like, you have to forgive them. My word is very clear about offense. Don't be offended. The Bible literally
and read this Bible verse. Make allowances for each other's faults and forgive anyone who offends you. Remember, the Lord forgave you, so you must forgive others. Galatians 3, verse 13. So it's like, even God is saying forgive. And if you're a Christian, you know it's not right. Like, deep in your spirit, you know it's not right. You know it. You can feel it. It's not even about real life at this point. It's about your spirituality. You feel it in your soul. Like, I can't go around with this hate all the time. It's not right. It is not. It's like it makes you hate another race of people and hate another gender, whatever. Some of the best people I've met in life were white people. Like some of the best. And I'm not saying black. Like, I've met great people from every single race. But you still have this hatred in you, like they've done something to you when they haven't. I know great Republicans. I know great liberals, I guess is the term, Democrats. I know great white people. I know great black people. I know great people, but you still feel as though you're less than because you're hearing all this news around saying, oh yeah, you're oppressed. You can't do this. No, you know in your heart it's not right.
Don't be offended. And that doesn't mean that no one should offend you. That just means that if someone offends you, don't take that offense to heart. So I remember just sitting down with I think I had like a notebook or a journal, and I just started writing. Like, I just started writing all the names and everything anyone had ever done, because I remembered it all. Like, I remembered everything every white person had ever done, like a car ride, anything where they said anything. I held all of that here, guys. And it was too much to the point I just had to write it. And I remember just like that was the beginning of feeling peace. Writing it down. So this is, if you're trying to find out how to have peace, hopefully somehow this video is giving that to you. Just begin to write down everything and don't hold off race. Don't think like, oh, race is this untouchable field, like we're not gonna go there. No, If someone has offended you because of a racist act, write it down. And I remember writing it down and then just being like, okay, I let this go. Like, I let this go. I give it to you, God. Like, I forgive them. Like, I forgive them for all the things that they did. These are people that I actually still have relationships with today. They probably don't know how much hate and how much, like, anger I had towards them for the things that they didn't even know they were doing. But in the moment of forgiveness, and this was a journey. This wasn't just like one journal night. This was like, I had to do it over and over again. And if something resurfaced, I would be like, okay, I can't hold on to that. Like, I want to hold the grudge, but I'm like, this is gonna break me apart. And I just journal it down. I just write it down. I write down what went wrong, and I'd say, like, you know what, this person could have had a bad day, and that is just as much as a possibility as it would have been that it was a racist act. Like,
And she's 100% right, man. Like, and this is something as you get older, you start to realize majority of people, I think about myself, man. I'm always like, you're always in your head thinking about what you're doing. And when somebody does something to you or somebody rubs you the wrong way, you think, or I think that it's like, you just do that to me? Like, you just said that? You must have a problem with me. Whole time, they probably didn't even know they did it. They probably just looking at the situation like they had a long day. They didn't feel like holding the door for whoever was behind them. They didn't even know you was there. You holding this grudge forever. You don't even know why. Like, all I'm saying is we gotta learn to forgive, man. I'm in this video right there. Shout out to this creator. If you have any more suggestions for me, comment down below, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.